When joy returns after months of fear, no one expects it to vanish overnight. Toan and Ly Tu Diem thought their hearts could finally rest when Grandma came home from the hospital, her smile lighting up their house once more. But just hours later, their little daughter Annie fell dangerously ill, and the peaceful night turned into a race against time. Would love and faith be enough to pull them through? Join us as we follow this emotional journey of family, fear, and hope. Don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories that touch the soul. After months of anxious waiting, the day finally arrived. The day Grandma was discharged from the hospital. The morning sun poured through the open windows, casting a soft golden glow across the little farmhouse. Toan stood outside, helping his wife Ly Tu Diem arrange a small table of flowers and fruits. His heart was lighter than it had been in weeks. The scent of warm rice and simmering soup drifted through the air, blending with the faint fragrance of lilies Diem had placed near the window. It felt like the whole house was breathing again, alive with quiet joy. When the car finally stopped at the gate, Toan hurried over, his eyes misting as he saw his mother step out slowly, leaning on her cane. Though still pale, her smile was radiant. "Welcome home, Mother," Diem said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. Grandma's eyes glistened as she looked around. The trees she had planted years ago now full of blossoms. The family she loved waiting for her at the door. She reached out her trembling hand, touching Diem's cheek. "It's good to be home," she whispered. From inside, little Annie's laughter echoed like a melody. The 4-year-old darted out, her small arms full of crayons and paper. "Grandma, look, I drew this for you," she chirped, holding up a picture of a smiling family under a big, shining sun. Grandma chuckled softly, her wrinkled face lighting up with tenderness. She bent down, slowly, carefully, and kissed Andy's forehead. "It's beautiful, my dear, just like you." As they gathered around the dining table, the afternoon sunlight spilled over bowls of hot soup and plates of steaming rice. Toan watched his mother eat with quiet relief. Every spoonful she lifted felt like a gift of life itself. Diem glanced at her husband and smiled, sensing the same unspoken gratitude. Annie sat between them, swinging her legs under the table, giggling as she tried to feed Grandma a spoonful of soup. Everyone laughed, a sound so simple yet so precious after all the days of worry and sleepless nights. That evening, the family sat together in the living room. Grandma's laughter mingled with Annie's chatter, while Toan played a soft melody on his old guitar. Diem leaned against him, her heart swelling with peace. It felt like all the storms had finally passed. For a brief golden moment, everything was perfect. The warmth of family, the love that had endured illness and fear, and the unshakable bond that tied 3 generations together. They didn't know what tomorrow might bring, but that night, surrounded by love, they believed everything would be all right. But sometimes, happiness slips away as quietly as it comes. That night, when the laughter had faded and the house fell into a peaceful hush, the storm returned. This time, not in the sky, but in their hearts. It was close to midnight when Yem woke to a faint sound beside her. Little Annie, usually so serene in her sleep, was trembling. Yem reached out instinctively and her heart froze. Annie's skin was burning hot. Her tiny body shivered under the blanket, her breath shallow and quick. "Toan!" Yem's voice broke the silence, thin and trembling. He bolted upright, confusion flashing across his sleepy face before panic took over. The thermometer's red line climbed rapidly, 40 degrees. For a heartbeat, they both stared at it, unwilling to believe. Then everything happened at once. Yem wrapped Enemy in a blanket, murmuring soft words of comfort that barely hid her fear, while Toan grabbed the car keys with shaking hands. Down the hallway, the commotion reached Grandma's room. Despite her frail body, she pulled herself up, clutching her cane. "What happened?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Annie's burning with fever. We're taking her to the hospital," Toan answered, trying to stay calm but failing. The old woman's eyes filled with tears. "I'll come too," she said weakly, refusing to stay behind. Rain had begun to fall outside, soft at first, then heavier. The road shimmered under the streetlights as Toan's car sped through the night. Inside, the air was thick with fear and the faint scent of medicine. Annie whimpered in Yem's arms, her little face flushed red, her lips dry and pale. "Hang on, baby, we're almost there," Yem whispered, pressing a trembling kiss to her daughter's forehead. Toan's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his knuckles white. Each red light felt like eternity. The rhythmic sound of the windshield wipers was the only thing keeping him from collapsing into panic. He glanced at the rearview mirror. His mother was silently praying, her lips moving without sound. The sight tore at his heart. Only hours ago, they had been laughing together at the dinner table, believing that peace had finally returned. And now it felt as if fate had cruelly snatched that joy away. As the car reached the hospital gates, Toan jumped out before the engine stopped. The nurses rushed forward as he carried Annie in, her tiny arms limp against his chest. Yem followed, tears streaming down her face, her heart pounding with helpless fear. The sterile brightness of the hospital hallways felt cold, merciless, swallowing every trace of warmth. In those endless minutes as the doors to the emergency room closed, the family stood outside. 3 generations bound together by love and dread. The night air was heavy with rain, the echo of thunder distant but growing. Toan held Yem close as she sobbed into his chest, and behind them, Grandma whispered prayers into her trembling hands. All they could do now was wait and hope that the morning would bring light again. The hours that followed felt endless. The hospital hallway was silent except for the faint hum of fluorescent lights and the rhythmic ticking of a wall clock. Toan sat hunched over in a metal chair, his head buried in his hands, while Diem stood by the door of the emergency room, staring at the small window as if her gaze alone could reach her daughter. Grandma sat quietly nearby, her prayer beads slipping slowly through her fingers, whispering each word with trembling lips. Every minute felt like an eternity. Each sound from behind the door made Diem flinch. She replayed every moment in her mind, the laughter at dinner, Annie's bright eyes, her tiny hands holding Grandma's. "She was fine just hours ago," Diem murmured to herself, voice breaking. Toan looked up, his eyes red from exhaustion and fear. He took her hand in his, gripping it tightly. "She'll be okay," he said, though his voice trembled. It was not a promise, but a desperate prayer. Then, finally, the door opened. The doctor stepped out, his expression calm but tired. "She's stable now. The fever's coming down. You brought her just in time." For a second, neither Toan nor Diem moved. The words felt too good, too fragile to be real. Then Diem let out a sob that turned into a laugh, collapsing into Toan's arms. He held her close, feeling her tears soak his shirt, his own eyes blurring with relief. Behind them, Grandma pressed her hands together and whispered a quiet, "Thank you, heaven." When they were finally allowed inside, Annie lay sleeping peacefully, her cheeks no longer flushed but softly pink. her tiny chest rising and falling with steady breaths. Diem sat by her side, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead, unable to stop the tears from falling again. But this time, they were tears of gratitude. Toan stood at the foot of the bed, watching his wife and child, feeling a swell of emotion that words could never capture. In that small white hospital room, love filled every corner. The first light of dawn began to filter through the window, painting the room in a soft golden hue. The storm outside had passed, and with it, the darkness that had clouded their hearts. Toan looked over at his mother. She was smiling faintly, her eyes glistening with peace. Diem leaned against him, her head resting on his shoulder. "We're going home soon," she whispered. Toan nodded, his voice low and full of meaning. "Yes," he said, "and this time we'll treasure every single moment." As the morning sun climbed higher, its warmth spread across the room, gentle, forgiving, full of promise. For the first time in days, they breathed freely again. Life had reminded them once more how fragile happiness could be and how precious love really was.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tu Diem Review. Vậy là trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay thì CEO Toan đã được xuất viện. Đó là một tin rất là vui, nhưng bên cạnh đó thì con gái đầu lòng của Toan và Diệm đó chính là bé Annie đã bị sốt rất là cao, phải đi bệnh viện cấp cứu. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện của Diệm Toan sẽ còn được hé lộ ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Lý Tu Diem Review nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.